The organizers of Straight Pride Boston will be on Gaytriarchy here on Saturday, I believe at probably 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm making the announcement now because, well, honestly, I want to give warning, but also I'm really stressed out at the moment, just dealing with my personal stuff, which is actually really intense right now, and this new adpocalypse thing, which is kind of terrifying, and ultimately led me to write an entire video directed at the guy that's behind it. And then I thought about it and I was like, no, I don't think that that's actually a good idea for my channel. This is not the work of one guy. This is not even just the work of one irrational guy. This is something that is calculated. It's crafted. They've been doing this for a long time. And he is just the useful idiot that is going to be basically acting as the fall guy to do other things that other figureheads like Ezra Klein, his boss at Vox, don't actually want to be held accountable for. But ultimately, there's bigger bosses. This guy works for Media Matters. Media Matters is the worst of the worst, really. So I'm just kind of worried about drawing too much attention to my opinions because I don't think my opinion really will make a difference. And I imagine that if I talk too much about him, then my channel might be one of the ones that completely dies. And I really like having my channel, even though I'm not making too much content right now. Things are particularly weird for me at the moment, and I know that my channel means a lot to people, and there's no reason why I can't start making more videos again soon and, you know, having more of a presence on the platform once again. And so, I'm just going to talk a little bit about this straight pride thing, because I want to be clear that although I'm having these people on my live stream, I'm not entirely saying that I think it's totally awesome and that straight pride is definitely necessary and blah, 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 blah. I don't really think that. I just think that it would be a good idea to hear them out as a gay guy about why they're doing this, what is their intention, what type of guys they are. I guess the head organizer is coming and then he has a gay ambassador that is helping him out, and I guess both of them are going to be there. So I'm really looking forward to it because this is the kind of thing where, you know, people are going to be talking about this a lot, but nobody's going to be talking to them. It's kind of like with Roosh V. Remember how Roosh V published a story about how rape should be legal on private property, and everybody freaked out. Everybody was like, oh, this is the new face of MRAs. This is what MRAs want, blah, 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 blah. And they didn't even read the article. They didn't think about what he was really trying to say. And so then Karen Strawn actually had him on a live stream and talked about it, what he actually meant. And there was a little bit of a teeny piece of validity with the argument in terms of if a woman goes to a house, she should be aware that she should be protecting herself. And so, according to Roosh, maybe she would be more firmly committed to protecting herself if she went to the house, knowing that she can't actually press charges if she is raped. It's not a good argument, but it's not exactly advocating for rape either. I'm just saying I can see what he was trying to say. It's not a good argument, but I get it. I see how it's different than it was portrayed. So that's what I'm trying to do in terms of giving these guys an opportunity to talk about their point. But I do think that straight pride is definitely a lot better than Roosh V's silly little private property rape argument. I think that we do live in a society where heterosexuality is thought of as this bad thing. It's much more than that, and it's actually a lot more sinister. We're thought to believe that monogamous heterosexuality and child rearing, like actually just having children, is this horrible thing, and that the world is incredibly overpopulated and that, we shouldn't have Americans breeding children because really it's just America, even though America has very low birth rate, and that's supposed to be the politically correct narrative. And so, personally, I'm thinking I am totally fine with straight people celebrating the fact that they do actually want to have families and that they are not going to be shamed by this weird abomination of what is supposed to be political correctness, but nobody's really entirely sure who are the politicians defining this. Are they quote unquote communists? Are they quote unquote socialists? Are they quote unquote globalists? Are they quote unquote weird corporatists that nobody has a good word for or something? But the politically correct party line is that straight people being in monogamous relationships and having children, getting married, marrying young, that is bad. And so I think it's worth discussing that type of thing in depth. Now, my immediate criticism of this is that I don't see why it's not cis pride, but that's maybe just me being a tiny bit selfish. I do think that it would be cool if the LGBTQ plus, if there was some significant presence of rebels within the ideology that decided that cisgender gays and lesbians and bisexual people have been under so much vehement criticisms and downright bigotry from the transgender, feminist, intersectional feminist, non-binary crowd, that it would be nice to have a bunch of gay guys and lesbians reassert the fact that, hey, we're happy being male or female. I'm certainly happy being male. I don't want to be a woman. And that we still feel as if we are a part of this, what's the best way to define it? A demographic that is placed outside of conventional family structure and conventional society to a certain degree that is inherent. And we are proud of the fact that we have made our lifestyle work for us and that we have obtained a lot as an overall community. I haven't obtained a lot, but I helped. I helped at a certain point. Maybe there's not a whole lot to help for anymore, but that's the goal. The goal is to make gay rights activism no longer necessary. And in some ways, we're kind of close to there. There's some stuff that's a problem, like, gay guys potentially being denied medical service, or maybe, I don't know, possibly maybe being fired. Maybe there's some people who want to do that. I don't think it's necessarily really actually happening. But those issues can be there, and they should be addressed if they are. But overall, I'm very happy to not feel like I have to be some sort of gay rights activist. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to transfer all of my energy into being an ally towards transgender people. No, I'm not interested in that, mainly because I don't agree with a lot of the platforms of the transgender activism. I do not agree with mandatory pronoun enforcement. I think that that's horrendously totalitarian, and I'm not interested in that. And it is a big problem that I'm expected to be just because I'm a gay guy, and that if I dare say anything bad, people attack me a whole bunch, and then they try to say, oh yeah, well, trans people started the gay rights movement, they got your rights. And it's like, no, that's actually a lie. I just made a video about that. So yeah, I'm definitely curious about this discussion. I'm looking forward to it. I think that there's going to be a lot to talk about between all of us, because ultimately the thing is this: it might seem to literally everybody, to black people, to white people, to Asian people, to men, to women, to trans people, to gay people, to lesbians, that they are all being specifically oppressed. And sure, I would say that a lot of people, like black men, gay men, have a really strong point, like a strong argument, because we're simultaneously supposed to be theoretically oppressed, but nobody ever actually treats us like that. Black men have to live in a world where everybody says that they care about black people, like, more than anything. It is expected that black people are just totally important in the eyes of the left, except for they can never admit the male experience. They're not allowed to say it's actually a thing being a black male. And gay men are the exact same thing, except for, I would say it's even worse, because white gay men are just, guilty until proven innocent. Like, it's like, people are like, oh, you're a white gay man, you must be a misogynist, you must be a racist, you must be transphobic, defend yourself. I don't know if it's the exact same thing with black men, but I mean, hey, it could be, definitely could be, the way these people act. So ultimately, I think that this is a great opportunity to have kind of a cross-pollination of different neo-grievances, like different grievances that have been evolving since the left totally took over the discourse in media, education, and much of politics. There's these new grievances that have emerged, and God, I really wish I didn't have to be a grievance media person. I really hate that I am. There's so many things that are more interesting to me, and it's actually really unfortunate, because at this moment, recently, what's actually going on right now, I have gotten a little bit sick of a lot of the types of content that I was making, just because I've done so much of it. And I've been taking time off. My father died. I've been doing a lot of stuff to get finances, which has been taking a lot of time, teaching and that kind of a thing. This is really just as a side point. I thought I could go sell some clothes, because I have some valuable clothing that I could easily sell. And this clothing store said, oh yeah, you have to schedule an appointment. Apparently it takes a month to schedule an appointment. So I'm dealing with weird crap like that, and it's hard to find motivation to make content. And then there's all this other crazy stuff that keeps happening. So it's not just that I'm trying to make this stupid grievance content that I really wish I didn't have to make. I really wish I was writing scripts of fictional, plays and cartoons, maybe some movies or whatever. And I know that people would like it if they had the opportunity to be made and people had an opportunity to really watch them. I know that people consistently like my stuff but it's not just that I'm not able to really do what I want to be doing, but then it's also that I have to fight for my right to defend the work that I'm doing, because I feel as if I have to. And I'm doing this during a period where I don't want to make any content at all, because I'm emotionally exhausted. I'm intellectually exhausted. And no, the people who have a problem with me, they would be really happy to hear that. That's how dire of a situation it is. And it's so unfortunate, because my opinions are not anything that should be controversial. I would have to think really hard to think of what would be considered an actual controversial opinion if people were at all sane when it comes to my opinions. I just don't, I advocate for legitimate non-racism. I advocate for legitimate, fairness between the sexes and genders. I advocate for the Constitution. Straight people are all right. Gay people are all right. Trans people are all right. Just stop hating each other. Stop ordering each other around. Somehow I'm the controversial one. And that's why I need to make my content. And so I'm going to end this now. Because, God, it's the pot boiling the frog syndrome. It's just this clown world has just crept up on us. And it's like they just want a reaction. It's like the only purpose of all of it is that they're trying to force sane Americans insane so that they can justify doing terrible things to us or something. So let's just not give them the satisfaction of going insane. I know I'm alright, but we're all stressed out. Alright, have a good one. And see you on Saturday.